Okay, we're going to call this regular meeting of the Borough Planning and Zoning Commission to order Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. It is 6 o'clock. Yeah. Roll call. So Tony Goldberg, Chairman. Maria.
Here.
Parity.
Here, just note, I have a hard stop, so I may be leaving the meeting early, so if you need to seat somebody for decisions.
Okay, Stan Reiner. Here. James Smith. Here. John Kessler. Sarah McElwee.
Here.
Okay, on to approval minute. We have the. Oh, Mr. Clark is in the waiting room. Thank you. Let me turn that off because. Never find where this is like disabled. Just remind me if you see anybody else. Approval of minutes. We have the April 15th, 2026 regular meeting minutes. We had a chance to go through them, changes, corrections. If not, motion to approve.
I'd make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as submitted.
All right, looking for a second.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Okay, so I have to vote on those. Yes, I approve those. All right, on to new business. I was going to try and move up without saying John's thing. If that's okay with you guys. But I don't see them here, so.
No, it's not.
One second.
I told them 6 o'clock, right? No.
All right, we're gonna move, we're just gonna leave it as it. Okay, first is site plan application for new retail business Smoothie Shop, 169B Main Street, Mass 57, lot 119. Applicant Richard Bernardo. Applicant here. All right. Please, tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
It's an herbal smoothie, so it's not just smoothies, it's gonna like cold teas, iced cream, like flavored teas, weight loss or healthy smoothies. So it's gonna won't conflict with the ice cream store at the store. And then we're gonna have like supplements and stuff like that. There's gonna be pre-workout drinks and post-workout, that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be more like almost like a healthy
Gotcha.
nutritional.
Okay. Your application back and real quick. I'm assuming you're signing to design advisory.
I think so, yeah.
So he shared it. They still need to schedule a meeting, I believe.
What's that?
Had you haven't gone to a meeting with them yet?
No.
Correct. Okay, so.
Okay.
I connected them. Dan shared it out to the whole group.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to hear back from them with the report.
I sent them over a rendering of what it would look like and the design and what it would look like on the building.
My understanding, that's the only thing that the application is for. It's not a change of use per se, because it's
No.
retail. Previously, it's retail now. There's no modification to the exterior. It's all interior.
It's all
but this is
interior.
signage.
Yeah, just the signage and general.
Yeah.
Site plan approval, just stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not a new.
Yeah, the sign I want to duplicate as closely as the ice cream sign, so more of like that same look is what like Jessica had with the flower shop.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit longer, but I guess that gets approved. I mean, I would go over the dimensions are okay.
I think the only restriction we have is that it's under 25 square feet, and then scaling from what you had there, it looks like it's 2 foot by, that, so you're well within the margin for this district.
Okay,
So the only thing would be a comment from a design advisory board, and I think they're very thorough
okay, I'm good.
and helpful.
And it's all powdered stuff, so it's not like we're not gonna have perishables or anything like that.
Okay. All right. Looking for a motion to approve. If you get this on client. Any more questions for the applicant?
Do they need help approval?
Oh, it's yours.
Oh, so we're all set then.
I'm working with the health department.
Yeah, we're ours the same.
Oh, different, okay.
Okay.
So I'd make a motion to approve contingent upon design advisory board not coming back with any, adverse comments, which I'm pretty certain they won't. So, I'd make a motion for conditional approval.
Second. All in favor?
I.
Any opposed? All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okey-dokey.
Yeah.
Okay, no. That's right. I think site plan application, new single family home in a CAM boundary, by Merriwold Walled Lane, map 69, lot 111A. Applicant Michael Michaels, somebody here to present. Thank you. That's me. It should be all right. Thank you, though. Where is that? Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just say. Not too excited. So, yeah, so I got an extra site plan.
Oh, yeah, if anybody wants the full side.
For the record, Brandon out, actually, yeah, to go inside. Great, start off. I'm representing the Michaels by Merriwold Lane. This property is located, just shy of the Connecticut River and over here. So as you can see, this is our vicinity map. 1 inch equals 1,000. We're just south of the Connecticut River right here. Approximately the work that we're doing is, I'd say 600 or so feet from the edge of the river. Unfortunately, due to a quick change in statutes, we are required to go under a coastal site plan review because we are within 1,000 feet of coastal boundary. We are just on the fringe though. But because of this, we have prepared this application as well as a site plan. And I guess for starters, what we're doing here is proposing a 3-bedroom single family dwelling. We have already received approval from the health department for a septic system. We do not need any other approvals for this project besides coastal site plan review. One thing that we wanted to emphasize, because we've been working on this project for about a year now, is making sure that because this site is rather steep, that we're not introducing any excess runoff, or at least we're trying to really control for that runoff. So for starters, our proposed driveway is pervious pavers. We wanted to reduce the amount of impact that we had, just primarily because this slope right here is about 15%. Furthermore, we've lined this driveway with crushed stone and a foundation drain. This foundation drain pipes over to our rain garden, which is just south of the proposed driveway and house. The proposed rain garden will sequester 3 inches of impervious cover, where CP statute requires that we sequester about 1.3 inches per square foot impervious cover. The reason why we've designed for 3 inches is due to that slope. We wanted to protect the vegetated rear of the property to the north. And because of that, we're also proposing very selective thinning of the vegetation in the back, primarily to get rid of some of those invasive species that are kind of plaguing that slope. Overall, we've worked with the health department as well as working with Zoe to ensure that, we're doing everything by the book. We've kept the gross floor area below 4,000 square feet to avoid a special exception. Furthermore, the entire property is in zoning conformance. And kind of with all that, with ensuring that health code is met, ensuring that zoning conformance is met,
and ensuring that not only are we meeting environmental code by state statute, but far exceeding it. We believe that this project meets the necessary requirements of a coastal site plan review. If I have any questions, please let me know.
There's an extra copy of the coastal site plan.
Oh, I also have one right here. Please, anyone.
Your lot size is undersized, correct?
I know it is now. Actually, yes, it is. Yeah, our lot size is undersized, where it should be 80,000 square feet. We only have 68,836 square feet. However, this was a pre-approved building lot. So that must have been done prior to the requirement for 80,000. I can't speak to when the subdivision occurred, but more than likely before that requirement was set in place.
So as a pre-approved building lot, you bring in that in the subdivision.
Yes.
When the planning and zoning and was approved as a.
Right,
As
yeah,
part of the building.
for feasibility primarily, soil conditions on site are pretty excellent for septic, for well. We ensure that the well radius is outside of the septic system area, which is a requirement from the health department. All work done on the property is within the limits of our erosion and sedimentation controls. So we have lined silk fence across the entirety of the disturbance with 10-foot silk fence wings along those along that silk fence, just about every 40 feet. That way, as runoff occurs on site, it'll be captured, slowed down, mitigated.
And for the context of that subdivision, it's in line with the other lots that were split at that time.
Site plan approval, we can't condition anything.
That time.
I said, it's because of the site plan approval, not a special exception. Yeah. It's just anything.
I mean,
It will be the change that.
Typically,
I'll just go through the new site plan review process, right?
My only concern, well, there's two concerns, but one of them is you're literally on the setback line. And so if I was gonna prove this, I would say I want your survey and the way we don't have to.
Yeah.
request an as-built, that's fine.
Yeah, so I would say we could get a foundation as built that we're not too far along. Go, yeah, we're 5 feet to the property line on the whole.
No, totally. Septic system will be staked out by a licensed land surveyor. Foundation will as well.
You guys have any questions for? Yeah. If not, it's promotion.
I'll make a motion to approve the site plan as presented with a requirement for an as-built at the foundation stage. Is that what we want to do?
That sounds right to me.
Okay. And then also with approval of the CAM.
Second.
Discussion?
would you accept that verification when they stake it out as opposed to poured foundation, just
I would accept that.
Before it gets poured.
yeah, I mean, I think it'd just be a matter of a verification prior to any construction. It's just in the interest of the owner, I think.
I amend my motion to reflect.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh. Sign.
Hey, at least it's in, you know, the name. How do you put it in?
Let's do it. I know, right?
No, this is
good.
I'm next as well.
All right, on to item C, special permit application, renovate existing single family home, over 4,000 square feet, the gateway zone. Construct new 16 by 36 in-ground pool, raised terrace, septic system, 38 Brockway Ferry Road, map 73, lot 5. Applicant Ted Goldberg and Jacqueline Granados. Granados. Say that, yeah.
No,
Maybe.
well, technically,
Maybe, sorry.
yeah. Yep, so for the record, Raymond Malas, yeah, I do just want to clarify that, this is for receipt. And there will be a public hearing for this. Would you still like a brief description of the project?
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. So, yeah, what we're proposing here is the renovation of this existing 4-bedroom house. Currently what's going on is the second floor, upper story of the building is fully under renovation. Essentially, there's like nothing there as is. There are no proposed structures that go beyond the 100-foot or 50-foot riparian area, as well as the CT River Gateway area. There are proposed structures, of course, but none that go beyond the already established footprint. So the closest structure is this existing open deck that will be converted into living space on several floors. We also have another porch that will be converted into living space as well. Both of these are within that 100 foot, but are outside of that 50-foot riparian area. There are a couple other changes made to the existing driveways. There's a pattern that's being proposed as well. So the existing driveway as it is will have an extension that will be entirely pervious. It will be on crushed stone only. On top of that, we have a proposed driveway terrace and proposed decorative stone perimeter around the proposed pool. All of those structures will be outside of that 100 foot. Just to reiterate, we received health approval for this project. The proposed septic system is 50 feet or more from the Connecticut River, which is a requirement from the health department. There are trees within that 100-foot buffer. We understand the CT River Gateway Commission really likes to keep those trees. So what we've done is we are proposing to place those in their own tree wells. There is also a proposal so there's inland wetlands to the west of the property. And there is a proposal to bury an existing above ground propane tank which will then serve the existing garage towards the left right here. Of course, silk fence will carry along the entire property. Nothing is proposed to be disturbed within 50 feet. I want to say that's just about everything. There is one thing I would like to clarify with the board that has to do with the sign requirement. So due to how this property is positioned with the Connecticut River, so Brockway Ferry Road is technically the road, but it's also kind of like, it's kind of like a two-way driveway, really, like especially where you get to the end. So with the sign requirement, like we expect that that's more so for the public, but there's not. I mean, it's really him and his neighbor. It's not anything more than that. So we just wanted to ensure that we're placing it where we needed to ensure that the public sees the sign.
Yeah, so I think we was asking, does it post it on the property or just post it at the end of Brockway Ferry Road, which is on our. Because it's not clear in the regulations. And it's only, to me, it's, you post it on your property, in front of your property, but being a kind of private road, you're really only telling your neighbor. So, your call, you guys' call.
Well, it's gonna be advertised and
In the paper.
paper, so.
So just on the property?
Yeah.
You guys all right with that?
It's close to properties.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to make sure.
With that.
And we're specific on the property. No, okay. Sounds good.
So the neighbor.
Yeah,
Right up on a big window.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. That's it. Yeah, because we know mailings also go out to the neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. So, and that will be 15 days before the meeting. That's kind of good. Okay, perfect.
Quick comment on my end, who knows, we've set a public hearing for this, but there's a slight increase in impervious coverage and building coverage. And so, yes, that's all.
Okay.
Yep. Any more harassment for the paving or was a public hearing for the next meeting?
Well, yeah, there's a good comprehensive package. I think, we accept the application, schedule public hearing for, with June something.
The June meeting. All right, look for a second.
Second.
All in favor? Anybody opposed? June 17th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, on to item B, special permit application, new shed. In an area where that's over 4,000 square feet, the gateway zone, 83 River Road, map 66, lot 1, applicant Kitty Long.
The only thing that I want to update for the record, for purpose of legal noticing is the applicant is actually Marcus Waystein. I was corresponding with two people and Katie was the one I was corresponding with, for me to get this on the agenda for Monday, but they didn't get me the materials until Wednesday morning. So I just want to make an update to the applicant.
Same thing, it's a public hearing.
Make a motion to schedule a public hearing or accept the application and make the public hearing for June.
17th. For a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. All right. Okay, on to item D. Preliminary discussion, 135 Kirkland Street, Mount St. John property. You guys, want to introduce yourselves?
Us, that would be us, we're up.
Yeah, wherever you feel comfortable, just, speak up so Nancy can hear you when she's doing minutes and just be relieved.
Welcome. Thank you. So, I'm Andrew Balazzi. My brother Jonathan. We just purchased the property back in February. We're just in the process of cleaning up things like that. I just wanted to come in front of you and everybody in front of the town to have kind of a roundtable idea possibly about what we're thinking, the town is thinking, and just throw some ideas around. We honestly have thought of so many things. We'd just love to hear from everybody. Honestly, that's why we're here.
So I'm just so you guys know, I'm going to open up to the public, so, but just keep it brief. I mean, just trying to have a roundtable about this, but run too long.
A lot of ideas.
Yeah.
Concerns, anything.
So if anybody from the public wants to speak, just again, stand up, say your name.
I have a written statement I'd like to read. I wanted to tell you a little bit about my property. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. I'm used to this. I should know that better. About getting over 137 Kirkland Street. I wanted to tell you a little bit about my property. I want to remind you that even though Mount St. John's address is on Kirkland Street, 135 Kirkland Street, they have zero frontage on Kirkland Street. They do not own the entrance to the driveway. That's my property, and they have the right of way to pass through. It's not a public roadway or access. I've often seen residents and even town employees trespassing on my property without my permission. Even Amy Winchell, the town clerk, and former first selectman Angus McDonald have trespassed on my property. Angus used to do it so often, I finally sent him and his wife a cease and desist since they ignored my request to not enter. I own the first 175 feet of the driveway leading to the school. The Mount St. John's property line is about a quarter of a mile from Kirkland Street entrance. There seems to be a lot of confusion about my property boundaries. About 7 years ago, Mount St. John's removed landscaping from my property, and even though their right of way is limited, it does not allow that. So I sued them in Connecticut State Court and won a significant settlement for their trespass in removing any landscaping in my property. And now with the new owner, they too have removed a very large rhododendron from my property. It was a beautiful 10-foot specimen that was over 25 years old that they hatched to the ground in their first week of ownership. He did promise to replace that, but we haven't made further arrangements to do so. I appreciate that. And just a few weeks ago, the new owner installed signs on my property without my permission, without zoning permit as required. Not only that, the signage is 3 times larger than what zoning regulations allow. I've already submitted a zoning complaint and I'm waiting for a resolution from Zoe, the CEO. I hope that you guys will come to a resolution on that soon. I'd also like to remind you that the entire 100 or so acres lies entirely within the Connecticut River Valley Gateway Zone and also may have wetlands or in close proximity to the property or along the driveway that is the right of way to the store. I tell you these stories because the new owner is already violating zoning rules and also because I want the commission to understand that Mount St. John's is a landlocked property and does not have a public right of way. Even though my property does not directly abut Mount St. John's, I hope you will include me in future discussions regarding any updates or changes to Mount St. John's, since they do have a right of way over my land. My neighbors who are also here tonight are also affected by potential discussions regarding Mount St. John's, because their property also abuts the right of way to the school. So I'm sure that John Liebler, Stacy Sparks, and Roger Williams would also like to be included in any further discussions. Thank you.
So I did, and I apologize because it hasn't been scanned yet, because we're still making the transition from the paper to the online, which I'll update the commission on later. But I did reach out and meet with the new owners regarding the signage, informed that you do need a sign permit. So they've filled that out, replacement in kind. So we did resolve the sign issue, and I made them aware that that type of stuff does require zoning for any future types of changes.
Okay, so I'm gonna allow the discussion to continue if it's not just about your own other properties. I thought we were trying to figure out how to develop this property, talk about that. So if anybody else is interested from the public, please. If commission, any questions, comments? Any ideas?
You speaking with the public first?
Yes, that's interesting.
I think we're waiting.
Okay. Okay, sure. I'm gonna try and keep it open anyway. If you got something, just throw your hand up on the top right.
Something.
Please.
Speaking of out of town, Carol Jones for selectman, also resident right on Reed Street, so 5 minutes up the road. But we're excited to see what you have planned. So thank you. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
My title's too long, so.
well, just to hear kind of what you guys have been thinking.
Sure.
So we have an idea kind of where you're at.
What has been the consensus through the years? I know the property is for sale. What do the people in town? We're waiting for you.
Yeah, that's what we.
I'm not sure that's what they're asking.
Yeah.
Be put on the spot.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, that's 4 years.
I'd like to say that, the Eastern Terrace is now approaching and.
Correct. Yes, that's perfect.
And, Joanne Irving, our, housing authority.
Yes, I met.
As one by rules, the commission, I work with the regional housing, committee. For affordable housing, and obviously that was the plan, that's what the state of the building. And, just curious, I've heard the housing speaks up, I'm curious. Any affordable housing ideas in there?
It was at the beginning of when we bought this. Like I said, we've touched every single base at this point in time. We've kind of moved away from that direction at this point in time. We have some preliminary ideas we'd like to share. Guys,
Yeah.
What we're preliminarily thinking, which would be great for we feel would be great for the town and people in the area in general, to be honest with you. Once you see maybe.
Is it the helicopter or anything we're talking about?
Yes, the cannabis fields and just.
I do want to respond to your question. If you asked me a question.
Yeah.
Before you share that.
Yeah.
I think is, I love the fact that you're engaging in conversation and looking at what's been going on. there is by no means any sort of consensus as far as what the town or the general public is interested in seeing there. I think that there's a very significant interest in adding it to tax rolls. I'm 100% against that. I think that that is a property that is unique not only to the town, to the region, but to the state.
Could you clarify your against what?
Looking at it in terms of capitalization of that, especially for the tax funds. I think that that, as well as the land itself, is an amenity to the town that can never be replaced.
Correct.
So I think that when we look at the role of planning and zoning, and we have responsibilities in terms of, looking at development, but equally in conservation. And I think that is a property, especially because of its prominence on the river. And as a, foil for Gillette's Castle, as a very significant iconic landmark along the river. That anything that could lean towards preservation, not only of the artifacts, but more of that landscape.
Yes.
And firm believer that the highest and best value of that property is some sort of public access. Not to, exploit it for tourism per se, that's going to tax the infrastructure, but something that allows the citizens of the Deep River, Tri-Town area, the region to enjoy that almost park-like.
Exactly. And that is exactly our sentiment. We purchased the property and our first idea was to preserve this property, to keep it as it is, repurpose it, do something with it that's going to affect. And yes, I understand the concept of, well, let's not look at it as creating revenue for the town, but I feel that it's our obligation to do something there that not only opens it up to the town, but also brings in revenue for the town. We paid the town a lot of money in back taxes, and that was due to the town. And for us to take it there and just leave it vacant, sit, do nothing, and have it be pretty view from the river, that does nobody any justice. Part of our plan and go over it is to incorporate public access to it. And my brother was saying our initial gut instinct will housing. And that's where we were going, sitting down and discussing our initial priority was to clean the outside up. There was a lot of trees and stuff that had been grown against the building. It's a very old building. It has slate roof, etc. They were leaning against the building. They were a hazard, and we carefully took them down. We met with the Gateway Committee. We went over everything. He gave us 100% approval for what we've done. And for instance, some of you may or may not be aware, a couple of weeks ago, I had a rugby tournament there. I played rugby, and I was nervous. I didn't want too much traffic in there at first for people, the neighbors, to, cause concern with them. But I'm like, what a great opportunity to open it up to the community. Someone put it on Facebook. I think it was, what's the guy? Jerry's wife. Well, ironically, their son plays rugby and was at that game playing that weekend. We hosted the high school boys team from the local Spartans, and they joined forces with Norwich. They came down here and played Simsbury, and I played for a much older team. And we played after that. I had local town folk coming up to me, asking me if they can come on the property. Obviously, we have gates for security reasons. I distinctly remember a young woman who came up to me and asked me, she goes to the statue and she prays once a week, and she has permission to do that. I said, please do, enjoy the property. The gates are up to keep the kids out. There's been a lot of vandalism here. We want everyone to enjoy it as much as we do. Every day we drive up there and look at it. There were stories about wrecking balls and destroying it. Our goal
is preservation. The building, the property, I feel there's nothing in New England or very close to it. You know, there's a couple things we saw in New York State out there and stuff that kind of resemble it, but what an opportunity, I believe, for us, for the town of Deep River, for the state of Connecticut to open a facility that is public access. You know, we've got some ideas about doing some sort of venue, you know, wedding venue or something. We've thrown out ideas of doing some sort of winery, you know, some flower fields and cut flowers and things like that. Agro-tourism. Yeah, we talked about opening up, you know, collaborating with the town to allow some sort of access for public walkways up there or trails or something. We've got 88 acres. We don't need all of it. And that's why we're here, because we are not those people. We live in this community. We both live in Westbrook. I grew up in Clinton. We did as well. We are not developers from out of state. We're not these multi-millionaires who came in here and said, you know what, I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. We're going to do what we can. We'll hire lawyers and we're going to push through this and get what we can. That's not us. That's why we're here right now. I want Robert to be like, these guys are good guys. And the rhododendron thing, I think, was a misunderstanding. I think you said for us to trim it and our carpenter cut a little more. Tube sitting for you in my driveway. So the story's a little jaded. We didn't just go out and chop it off and say, hey, buddy, your tree's gone. It's on our that building, you know, whatever, whoever's building. So that story's a little lopsided. We didn't just go down and cut the thing down, but on purpose. Yes. Food for thought, never have a carpenter be an arborist and cut trees. You know, and I know my brothers offered to clean up some of the brush for you and stuff like that. We are trying to be good neighbors. I live in a neighborhood, obviously, and if there was a property like this near me, I would be here representing myself and asking, what's going to go on with this place? But please know that we are willing to work with you folks. You're there more than us. We visit, we lead, you live there. And we want to work with you. We want to work with the town. And we want to make this something special. And I believe we have the footprint to do that. I honestly do. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Just your name.
As Jason Sparks, 131 Carpenter.
Mhm.
I just really like the job. Whatever is done, whether it's, you know, I understand you don't understand defense, that's great. But just because of the way it's configured, you know, you're right on that curve, where people already come around way too fast, for going on the landing. And then the back access is very quirky.
Yes.
So I just can't, I'm trying to imagine how it would be if there was significant public activity, how that would affect traffic.
And you know, I go back to we did some traffic research and employees and stuff in the schools fully functioning. And I think there was some record of 140 people in and out there or something like that. And so, 40 vehicles. And I know that's a concern. I think that's probably going to be the biggest concern is for the folks that live in the neighborhood. We do have a right of way in and we have a right of way out. So our thought is maybe people go up one way and out the other way, so you're not affected double them coming down and going up. Obviously, we need access to the property. We have access, we have deed rights to get to it. And you know, the traffic is going to be there, and hopefully there's going to be some traffic with vehicles and a business that's actually functioning and lucrative. But I mean, there's ways that we can work around it and have these discussions and open your suggestions, because I understand your concern. I legitimately do. We're not in here trying to push stuff through and just for our best interest. I mean, traffic is going to be a problem or a concern for you, but I think if we can come up with an approach somehow that's acceptable to you folks and the town, we can come up with a game plan. You want to touch upon, so these are just some things that we talked about.
Yeah. He touched on most of it, creating jobs with current infrastructure that's there, utilizing all of the building, the footprint that is there currently. It needs to be reimagined, at least not the whole structure. We all know that's beautiful. But the additions are, like the things they did in the 90s.
They're to be designed.
I said the other day that I'm surprised they didn't do purple and pink for the building in the 90s. So. We'd like to put Deep River on the map with what we have for an idea. And like my brother said, make it something everybody can enjoy. And he did touch the traffic. And no matter what we put there, there will be, obviously there's going to be some sort of traffic. You're probably
probably used to just jog from the Catholic Church the past 7 years. I imagine going up there mowing the grass. So, not all students do. No, that's, well, the kids probably stuck in the back by so, yeah, so. We have a lot of ideas. A lot. So, these.
Yeah, so I touched on a bunch of it, like he just said, and I want to reiterate. I think Deep River needs this. I think any town could utilize this building. I think it's a treasure. And fortunately, we've been blessed to be able to purchase the property. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's been talked about what's going to be done. I recently, when we were under contract, a yoga studio retreat of some sort. And we're not opposed to somebody doing that, but we have different ideas. Like I said, the property is amazing. I'm assuming all of you have been there at one point in time. We've had the luxury of going out there and just walking around. It's 10 times nicer now. We've cut the grass, we did tree work and stuff like that. We're cleaning. So it's an amazing property. It really, really is. So we want to make Deep River a name. You know, you've got Water's Edge in Westbrook, and that's all well and swell and by the water and the ocean and stuff like that. But I've stayed there a bunch of times, and it's local. I live in town. To me, this is so much more. You know, you don't even have to go in the building to feel how special it is. You could just stare at it from outside. And oftentimes I do. I just sit out there and have lunch and just look at it. It's beautiful. And we can incorporate that with the public, with the town, with the state, with New England to come up and visit this place. Hey, you can go to this castle. You know what? It was a school, it was an orphanage, it was this, that, and everything else, but this is what it is now. And it's beautiful. And we can offer so much because we have a lot of property to be able to do that. So again, I touched upon it with some of the vineyards and wine tasting stuff like that. Agricultural things we've looked on, some sort of little boutique hotel or some wedding venue. For those of you who probably know, some don't, there's a chapel already in the building. Unfortunately, some of the stained glass had been smashed from some kids, which are going to have repaired. Regardless of what we do, whether it's vacant or not, we're keeping that. I mean, it's nostalgic and we feel that it's important. Yes.
I hope you also keep the cross at the very.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's, I got one right here. Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
that to me is one of the nice features that I've done.
Off the record, on the record, have you ever rung the bell?
I have not.
You need to come up.
You have?
It's a little janky with a rope through a window that's broken, and I don't think that's how they used to do it, but.
You never heard it?
Never.
It's loud. It's loud.
No, it's loud.
It's nice. Yeah, that works, man.
It gives you goosebumps. It's amazing. So again, something like that, wedding we talked about, maybe some sort of restaurant or something, a cigar lounge. The building is 100,000 square feet. The old part is beautiful, needs a lot of work. The new part is in much better condition, but it's got awful ugly.
It needs to be reimagined.
Yeah, and not reconstructed to the point where we take it down, but we do a lot to the outside to make it beautiful, not look like a middle school or a high school and stuff. I mean, there's a full gymnasium in there, full basketball court. The building's cool, but we need to make it something nicer. Cigar lounge, open to community events, maybe the town goes there and uses the space, or we have corporate events there. People can have Christmas parties. They can do whatever. Again, the building is large, and we can hopefully envision something that we can do that with. Exterior wise, I'm a big animal lover. My brother is too. We talked about, some kind of baby goats or something. I don't know. It's just,
We used to be from.
So there were a lot of sheep. They had a lot of sheep.
we have some pictures of that. Some sort of walk-in trail that we can incorporate with the town, that people can go up there, that they don't have to spend money at the restaurant or get married or something like that. Just to go up there, like he was saying, as a park almost, open to the public and just come up and hang out. Have a picnic basket and have lunch on the river and overlook it, enjoy it. Because we do. And again, that's why we are here, because we want. I know not everyone's going to embrace it. I know there's going to be some opposition. I know the traffic is a concern. And obviously, if there's traffic, that means the business is making money and people are up there. And obviously, we need to do that. But so again, yes.
But there also is, I think, the traffic isn't just a big inevitability, right? Like different uses have a lot more traffic. a lot more- And the one thing I would think about the yoga studio, just as in terms of traffic,
Mhm.
it was going to be people who go for the week. You know, so it would actually be, that would have been a very minimal impact.
Mhm.
That's the only comparison I'm making, but
Sure.
I do think that when you consider, or when we all end up considering the particular use, it's gonna have, you know, we're gonna have to consider how often people are going,
Yeah, so
how many,
Yeah.
the whole thing, because it all matters, and there's some uses that would probably be, you know,
that's what I'm-
Yeah.
Because when I moved here 27 years ago, there were 20 cars that came in at 8 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
20 cars that came and went at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and maybe 5 or 6 cars at 11 o'clock at night. And that was,
that was it.
there were no cars ever anytime other than those 3 specific times for the first 20 years that I lived here.
And again, obviously, like I said, we understand that, and again, that's why we're here. How we resolve that and address that, I don't know, I don't know. You know, are we, certainly I'm not flexible enough to do yoga, so that's not. Yeah, well, so that's not my wheelhouse. But, you know, that's what she was saying, you know, to establish a yoga retreat and have 20 people up there a day, I don't know how that would be sustainable. I mean, that's what she painted the picture as, but
No, it was more people than that. I think it was more just that a lot of people would come in a week, and then I'm not trying to, you know,
no,
I'm just saying.
this is why,
Going for an event
Mhm.
is quite different from.
Yeah.
daily.
Yeah, sure. But like I said, that I understand the concern and it's been brought to us prior to this conversation, so. I don't have a solution right now as to say, you know what, do we limit the car, you know, I don't. I don't have an answer to that. Again, we're here to discuss things and present what we think would be best for the community, for the town, for ourselves, obviously as well, so. And that's why we're here.
Would you be willing to kind of look into using that back entrance somehow
Absolutely.
instead of the, you know, over their properties? I think that would be a good idea just to kind of utilize that entrance. And you can, you know, you can decide if it's feasible, you know, to do that, but I think that would be a good alternative.
And my rebuttal to that is, obviously, these folks knew about the meeting. If we designate that as the exit and entrance, I can assure you at the next meeting, the people from.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And they're gonna say, screw those people.
Yeah.
They're driving.
No one's ever gonna be
No.
happy about it, but it's a little bit, it seems to be a little bit clearer of an entrance point.
We are not opposed to that. So if we were all here and those residents were here
Yeah.
and these guys were here and they're like, we really want you to use the back entrance, we can make it a fully functioning drive. It's
Yeah.
not much.
I think you touched on that at the beginning anyways, that you would probably make it one way in and one way out, so it's not.
You're
influx.
cutting traffic.
Yeah.
Half the total traffic.
Yeah.
But also, that would disperse traffic throughout town.
Yeah,
correct.
Down, you know, that would, like brewery, whatever.
Absolutely.
Top of the this in the town, rather than the town.
Correct.
Maybe they stop and do something else in town.
Yes.
Well, and that's our hope too. You know, this is a property we feel will bring people here, but they're not just gonna stay here. They're gonna go down to Haley Joe's, they're gonna go to the Red House, they're gonna go to the brewery, they're gonna go all these places in beautiful downtown Deep River. We feel it's gonna draw people in and make the town more active. So what we hear you say, it's not just one of those things, it's a complex that encompasses those. Correct. So you'll have a restaurant, boutique hotel, cigar rooms.
Vineyard.
Yes, I mean, these are all ideas we're just throwing out.
We put down a whole bunch of ideas.
First, I thought you said these are kind of separate, which ones? But you, let's make these holistic, these could all be components of. Maybe not day one. But
Yeah, absolutely. I probably not all of them at once, but a selection of
I've seen this work with a site. And their situation, they were adjacent to state land and high land, so they were able to, rather people come in and said they bring a whole family. And then go on, that way the trails extended into, that neighborhood property, which is different. And there's, you have 80 acres, where they didn't.
Yes.
And that, they kept their hours controlled. So they didn't have a worksheet hotel, so there wasn't anybody coming in after, I remember like 6 or 7 o'clock, but they were busy enough during the day, because there was a lot of families and stuff where even they, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
But I could see that type of thing working well. It was, I don't know if I exactly see the vision of Water's Edge, just because Water's Edge is so Water's Edge is.
Yes.
Well, it's beautiful.
My association,
Comparison.
my association with that is everyone knows what's a Water's Edge.
Yeah.
It makes Westbrook, there's the Elks and all this other stuff, but a lot of people travel to go to Water's Edge, and I think that it's a different experience there. That's kind of the place, same idea. They've got a restaurant, they've got rooms. I don't think they have a winery or any sort of that sort of stuff, but it's very commercialized in my opinion. I think what we can make this is something special and different.
My thought is kind of Great Gatsby area. Feel with an overlook hotel minus all the things that happened. I'm saying, or with it, bro. That's a that can be a draw too. That's the old paneled walls and the bringing back to that nostalgic era, which the architecture of that main facility really carries. Like when you come up that driveway, you look up, I still never down, like, what is this doing here? It's like, it just grabs, it's a very surreal look when you see that place for the first time.
So at this point, how is housing totally off the table?
Nothing is totally off the table. I think this is the direction that we have collaborated and thought that would be a good approach for the town. My concern, and this gentleman brought it up, is that if we do apartments, whatever, it's going to be exclusive to those residents. Those people are going to be going there. Can somebody drive out there? Sure, I guess, but it's not really open arms to the general public to drive around and walk around somebody's property where there's a bunch of apartments.
Yeah.
Right.
With this, I feel, and he feels the same, that we can involve the general public, the town of Deep River, and the local communities and people of any nature going there to visit, to have a picnic, to stay at the hotel, to get married, to have a glass of wine, a cigar, can go there and enjoy it, or they just stay outside and enjoy it.
That's when your obstacles. Right now, it's zoning
Correct.
residential. So as of right, that's what it is, but it's probably the use that would introduce the highest densification and exclusion of the public that it doesn't trigger of any sort. Right. When we grappled with this, there's the discussions with POCD and with economic development, et cetera. My bias is always to, if we were ever to rezone that, zone it institutional, which is mission forward. It's something that is an academic, is it, something for the public good. There's so many other auxiliary uses that can stem from that. So if there was an institute, when the culinary institute that they proposed said, well, there's the potential for a restaurant and for public education, public use, a gentle public use, but with a higher good. That's your non-conforming use right now, is an institution that served a sector of the public that needed that kind of rescue. So I think the potential is infinite. The obstacle is wading through everybody's personal opinion, what they want there, but finding kind of the bigger idea, which I think you're already onto, is fundamentally this preservation of that iconic not just building, but location.
Everything has a,
Um,
correct.
And so how do you make that something that serves the immediate public, broader public? And how do you make it sustainable, economically sustainable, but you have some use that, doesn't exploit, that makes you use of that. Then your idea is great. If you have a, retreat type thing that has a focus on, a public good. I think that's the type of thing that can, sway the zoning and really create something that's not just changing the regulations to accommodate a business. It's changing the vision, as you said. Vision would be perfect. It's what is it in this next minute? So I hate to leave this conversation, but I got another thing, so. But for that, thank you.
You're changing, we're changing.
I get switched.
Heaven forbid you decide this is the business you want to be in. Once that zoning's changed, that they can stop people who are not, if you declare them.
Right.
And come in and say, well, hey, now I'm zoned for, Dave and Buster's.
Yes, yes.
But this is, we talk about, that's why it's always a big thing, is that there's been, unfortunately, many times when the exceptions are made, without really future thinking, and we've then decided outcome.
Yes, then why, if this is something we pursue, why can't we change the zoning and write the regulations that don't allow such things? So if we were to sell the property or God forbid pass away or something, that somebody can't come and open a Hooters or Dave and Buster's or something like that.
Is that possible? Is that a special exception or a special permission?
So I think Alan was on the right track, is that you don't change it, you do what you're gonna do, so it can't be anything else, and then we zone it, it's, so nothing changes.
Sure.
I don't wanna, we kind of get what you're feeling for, but I always, these guys have heard me say a million times, and you just mentioned it again, is you can rival Hartford Park, you can rival, Gillette's Castle across the way. I think you have a better opportunity, and frankly, they're gonna be a little mad, because you're gonna take a lot of their drawing.
Or you are?
So, even if you do a quarter of the stuff that's on your list, I think you're in good shape.
Yeah, and again, we just put a bunch of stuff together to throw out there. Again, that's not everything on that list, is something that we have. No, it's not at all. We just wanted to present suggestions, ideas. 15 items on the list that we thought.
I think you got everybody pretty much forward until you're gonna have an actual application.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make a suggestion.
Sure.
And tell you about my brother, who actually is in another state. So, but he has an organization that he started that is meant to mentor young people.
Mhm.
And what he does is he renovates old buildings and as a plumber kind of teach these young people how to do plumbing, and they have an electrician who teaches people how to do that while they're doing the renovations. So I just thought that, and all those people get paid minimum wage or whatever, so they're learning a trade, they're learning a skill. And I just thought I'd suggest that that might be a way that you could do renovations and things on your building is, have your tradesmen or whatever kind of mentor other people.
No, that's great. Absolutely.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what state they're not on the
Ohio.
coast of?
Yeah.
So essentially, like the kids from St. Vinyl or in apprentice program.
Yeah.
Bring them down. Let them
And what
practice.
pays all those people, so
Yeah.
they, it's not like they're volunteering their time. But then they renovate.
Well, it's a place to practice.
Yeah, so something suggests that if you,
They can figure that place out, we'll figure it out.
if you want to do some good for the community.
It took us 2 weeks, 2 weeks to figure out. Turn all power back on.
Yeah.
Sure, that we get that other stuff, they did it, why they did it. There's a breaker panel all the way in the back of the kitchen that controls the lights all the way in the basement of the original building, 400 feet away. It's some wild stuff. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And before we do anything going forward, or maybe we do in the process, one of our goals was to have an open house. Once we get the inside a little bit cleaned up, because it's kind of really messy. I don't think too many people want to go in there. There's a lot of stuff going on. They've left a lot of things behind. Sadly, there's a lot of pictures. We've reached out to them. They've taken the most out of everything that they wanted to. There's old records and things like that. And it's amazing what they left behind. There's a ton of furniture. We've reached out to Habitat for Humanity. Our lawyer actually is, she's on the board for the local chapter, and she's working with them to try to come and take some of this furniture. It's really high quality, well-built furniture just sitting there. But once we get it situated enough where we aren't embarrassed when people go inside, we're gonna open it up to the community, just have people come and, an open house on the weekend, just come around and walk around the castle.
Bring it up.
Yes, well, you're gonna be able to do that before. So.
If you find any old bronze signs, I'm sure the historical society.
We've looked,
Yeah, they could be, it's.
Melted down.
But,
No, it's been 8 or 9 years since those signs were taken down.
Oh, because I've seen it on Google.
Yeah, no, they came down almost 10
I
years ago.
haven't seen any bronze signs.
Yeah.
Most of it's knickknacks and lamps and vents and.
Yeah, they must have had a large tag somewhere. Well, there's a lamp room.
Oh, they-
A record.
It was
Bicycles.
a weekly or month.
Oh, was it? Yeah, everything is priced. Most things in there.
It was one of the projects that the kids
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Guaranteed.
It was one of the projects that the kids did.
Oh, all right.
It's almost how they run a business.
They're interesting. Oh, that's good. But like I said, we plan on opening it up as soon as we get it situated enough. This, again, and that's. We enjoy the property every day we can go up there. We have the code at the gate, we go up there, but again, I feel we're discrediting the town of Deep River and the state of Connecticut and New England, honestly, if we just take it away, design it, designate it, or try to as something exclusive like apartments or something like that. I think we owe that property justice to bring it to life again. So I'm getting emotional. It was a long process. And, for us to own the property now is still, it's a pinch me moment. And then again, we talked about this and we met with some folks and we met with Gateway and we're like, and I had the rugby event there and it was, I don't want to get tearful. I was warming up out front and a lot of parents were there for the kids. And I could hear that. I had my headphones on and they were cheering. I was so excited, so happy. I'm like, this place is alive. It was amazing. But that's what we're here to do. And again, we're hoping that the town is open arms to this and we work together and come up with a solution.
I think I would add more comment, I was gonna say, but you go ahead, I'll close this up.
Yeah, be quick.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
I like the idea that whatever you guys do up there would not be exclusive. That anybody from any financial situation would be able to go up and enjoy it.
Absolutely.
I've not been up there.
No,
I've
no.
never seen it, so
Oh.
to think that you guys would do something up there that anybody can go up and enjoy it, I can't wait.
Good.
Yeah.
And we love that.
Okay.
And you're more than welcome to come up and ring the bell also. It's an amazing experience,
One question.
of course.
Purely hypothetical, and it's not because I people who want housing and want anything else. But would it not be possible to have housing and then have some sort of public access? I mean, to have areas that would that be possible? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are places.
There are, they're usually predominantly run by the people, like, so you'll have the people who live there, they're ordering you around the trails, I saw your dog poop on, the grass, and they just, you
You
get,
have the park.
you do, but you get kind of run out by the people that live in that area. So I've seen that, we do a lot of development down the Guilford, Madison way, it's just, that's what you run into.
That's what happens.
There's been discussion. It's a private property, so discussions with the state of what could be possible there, but it's private, so it's always an unofficial discussion before you purchase it. And as of right now, because the whole region, we talked about this at the end of this meeting, the whole region is below application, what we're supposed to have for affordable house.
Right, we were.
Because of that, the state, with the new share program, and Nick Joanne mentioned that to you, they're like, they're throwing money at the town, saying, we'll give you money, but it never happens, actually, it's never happened. So there is money there. However, the other side of that is because of the easements, and now it's questionable whether or not you could put any amount of residential. And I'm not sure those things are large enough, there's obviously no take backs.
Hold on, let's not get into legal.
No, but I'm saying, that's what the housing that's been
But again,
discussed, it's like,
it's not,
you can't build something you can't get to, or can't protect.
how do you know that? Are you?
Well, I'm saying, I would, I'm sure they, if they were one.
But that's
like, let's present.
Let's not go down a rabbit hole we don't know what it is. The point is, I wanted to say thank you guys for coming in and just most people don't come in and do this, like you said, they come in and try and ram it down your throat.
Yes, that's
So, we look forward to coming with an application and then.
Yeah, or even coming back with preliminary.
Right, that's-
Preliminary discussion,
Yeah.
like.
But yeah, I mean, once you get something on
Towards the
paper.
north.
Yeah, we did some preliminary stuff with pictures, you know, of what the buildings look like now and how we would envision them exterior wise. Yeah. I get back in. Here. No, I'm sort of picture the one.
So you said. No, it's fine.
No, but people, if they're done.
So.
I was not a drive. You said that.
Thank you. Yes, okay, yeah.
That's the little time. We've got that time for today. And then Brenda,
It's an amazing building. It's an amazing building.
Oh, no, I'm just sharing, I discussed it. Yeah. You know, my feeling, it's fine. I'm not telling you. So it's kind of right.
I'll stay on slate. Just soon. I did say, other, not certain things, right? It's like now, that's my thing. It's like. That's.
Those are further.
Oh, is that where we're going?
Okay.
Yeah, very nice.
They're all on my phone, man.
Okay.
I can turn it on.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna wrangle this back into just looking at a bunch of stuff. Yeah, let's go a couple more things.
No, I think that's it. You guys have more questions?
This is the land.
Sounds good. Oh, you guys, all right.
Stop the conversation.
Tony, let me.
Joe usually comes back.
Like picks me out.
It's great to see you all so much.
Regular meetings.
It's too good.
This week.
The white one, looking at people ordering the next box.
I've seen it go by, it's kind of found on it, actually makes sense.
I am. Sorry. No, you're good. Just. I don't want to yell.
I know. Oh, boy, here we go.
Favorite part, regulations.
Okay, so first part,
Do we have?
Well, go ahead, I'm talking.
you, Mabel, do you want to go? I was just gonna say.
Can I peek at?
Oh,
Oh, the minutes.
oh, minutes.
Yeah.
So,
I just want a little reminder where we left off.
oh, I.
That my memory is correct.
Certainly. I'll get the mind, we'll share here. Either way.
Whatever. we'd like to do.
Well, because I was good with it, except for, apartments, like. I thought about getting rid of the stupid 30% from the get-go.
Okay, so yeah, so basically where I do want to start today is I think we could definitely decide on ADU and solid waste facilities if on amendments and just set the public hearing. It's too bad that Alan left because part of my question to the group today, because it was his idea to do some like community sessions about regs is I think, and I'll show you later on, I started working on trying to figure out a timeline and cadence for it. I think there's some big topics that definitely will maybe the work will involve and will warrant probably some bigger discussions. But I think if we do it for every topic, we're never gonna get through it and people will get tired of it.
Yeah.
So there's certain things that I think let's get it through. So let's start with finalizing or at least continuing with the ADUs and solid waste facility stuff. And then we can return to this little page right here. So I'll jump to ADUs because that's the easiest one. I put it in May regulation, accessory apartment, that one.
Oh, I just didn't scroll far enough. Oh, no, it's only, okay.
It's just this. So these are the changes as discussed last time, and I'll put it on the screen too. And so I wanted us to look at it again, see if we had any other things, and if not, see if the commission wants to opt to set the public hearing to amend.
So this is saying that if 60% of the dwelling is over 1,000 square feet, it can be over 1,000 square feet, correct?
No, it's saying
Either or.
so it's either 60% of the primary dwelling
So we're
unit
not-
or 1,000 square feet.
We're not exceeding this. Okay.
We're not
So, but shall
exceeding
not
1,000
exceed
square feet.
1,000.
Right, unless it is
Needed affordable.
deeded.
Yeah.
Deed restricted.
Right.
For affordable. In which case that the larger of the two dwellings becomes primary. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I
The
like
only
that a lot.
the only thing I have never liked about this reg, is, no, I mean, going back.
No, I
years,
know.
Because it says of the floor areas of the principal dwelling, can we
Let's
make
simplify
that,
it.
make
Yeah.
that living space, not basements, not
Yes.
attics that aren't finished?
Yes.
You know, Madison's getting rid of floor area period because it's so
It is,
epic confusing.
yes, we're supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
But they haven't moved along on that yet. So can we just do
Or
the living space?
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I had the stuff open for the PDF so that we look at it, but now I need to get the
Ah,
live versions out so I can take notes.
And other than that, I'm like to.
wait. Hold on.
You can still have this
Trying to, there was discussion of this, in the regional planning, there was legislation about this, now, what they called that, Golden Girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
You, right, you're familiar?
Yep.
And I was just trying to look and see what was, if there was anything there that we could use, but I'm not finding it. Because that didn't go through before they closed, but it isn't gone, it might come back.
Yeah.
But we can change that, but I want to see if it would be preemptive.
Yeah, so they're up two.
Do we need to, do we have anything
Sound good
that
enough.
we need to like absolutely finalize?
I'm not gonna die on my film. Just reads funny to me.
Because English is one thing.
English.
I'll go with you.
Needs to do that. Okay, so I changed 60% of the living areas of the principal dwelling unit, whichever is less, unless the accessory dwelling unit is needed or affordable, in which case the larger of the two dwellings becomes primary. And then for parking, we removed language and just said any curb cut / driveway for work shall be reviewed, permitted through appropriate development departments. Easy peasy.
Okay, yeah. Motion to send this public hearing on June 17th.
The second. Oh, you need a motion.
So
I'm
moved.
sorry. Yes. I'm sorry.
You second it?
Yeah, I forgot you can't make the motion. I apologize.
Okay, so the accessory is
you have-
Sarah and Daniel.
Oh.
All in favor? Aye.
I have to this.
Okay. Yeah, that was an easy one. I'm glad you guys all agreed on it, because that was bothering me for very long.
So, okay, our,
Oh, and change, Zoe,
yes,
and under C, 7B 11.3C. Be self-contained with separate cooking, sanitary, sleeping.
I was saving.
Yes, that was the state.
Oh,
The state aid.
well, I gotta grudge with that, but.
Wait, so for,
It says
Wrong
it's
review.
use of use.
oh, be self-contained with separate cooking, sanitary and sleeping facilities.
Use of use
Two.
to the occupants. Yeah. Okay, easy.
What was the other, what's the next one?
Okay, let's.
Okay, this one is gonna take a little extra and I will not be able to share screen on all of it, but I brought a second laptop because you guys are just how crazy I am today. So,
Oh,
That's the radar.
okay.
Uh,
I might, should go run and get my car.
My yard, two new trees
I
to.
don't need that.
That was down to Jersey.
okay, while we do that, actually,
You just freaking met.
That's New York City. That's us. Yeah, do you want me to put it in motion? I'm very ambivalent with mine with that.
Yeah. Figure that fall. Yeah.
No, you know, jump in my car and launch.
I ordered these two nice dog ones 2 months ago, so I never fortunate. First shipment got killed in Waterford, something happened, so they sent it, it arrived today, I don't know how it's freaking being here.
Right.
See the trees and.
What is
Open the garage, and it's down, it's too hot.
Applications while I.
I'm going to- I want the ranch. I can't put it on the ground, I can't, put it- yeah.
Well, you-
That was self-destructive.
I was just saying, I do stuff like this, I'll put it to the ground like, today, and then it'll rain like this and ruin it, because it's too much. So, yeah.
Okay, so the big thing that we were discussing last time was this area, this line here. And so I was working on trying to map to assess them. And in doing that, I was wondering if this still needs to, I wanted to make sure that this is very clear.
I like that.
Because is it clear that it's 250 feet?
For residential is the.
So are you measuring the 250 feet from the lot line of the waste facility or from the waste facility's footprint?
Well, right, so you're saying any lot within 250 feet of your facility where you can't have it if it's a residential as the primary use.
But is it within the, do you see what I'm saying?
No facility shall be located within 250 feet.
Of the lot line
Well,
or?
no, she's saying the facility.
No, but, well, that's what I'm asking. Is that clear?
Because what about the caretaker? The caretaker, is that-
No, so
That's not
if
saying-
where residential is the primary use. So,
We got a road?
Yeah, but no, I think you need to articulate it further. I understand what you're saying, Zoe. I just think you need to say that as so, because you're just saying, it's right?
Well, no, hold on.
It's not, because they read as residents.
So if that's 250 feet. Yeah. My facility can't go here, but it can go here. On the lot. Read it that way.
It's from,
I just wanted,
So the
I was wanting to
facility
get to the
itself.
word.
Facility itself.
So that's the part that I want.
That's what I'm trying to delineate. So the facility, or we're talking so.
That's the way it reads to me. No such facility, not the lot. No such facility.
no such facility should be located.
I think we should put a line that says like measurement,
And
should measurement.
measurement
250
from
feet
building to building.
building, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, put that in parentheses, building to building.
Perfect. Going up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because that needs to be like.
yeah, no, I agree. That's a good way to put that.
That's, yeah, thank you.
I just.
Well, it was just short, it was just,
But where
It's okay.
residential is
because I'm like, residential primary use, but what's the residential?
Then I came up with it.
It's
Because residential's too empty.
use different than the zone, so it's that also needs to be more clear. So because what I did was I made. Here.
Yeah. Right, right, so it's been, right, primary use is not the caretaker.
So here's the. Yeah. Why is not everything just easy to find again?
Then I'm, since this one's easy too.
Okay, so. I'm gonna open up these two things.
Was it raining? Drop and look at that.
Trees everywhere.
No, we're in different, I mean, it's crazy. I'm about to pick the kids up.
Oh, yeah.
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 We had to drive down the street like 2 months long and it rained here like every day.
I've seen stop at the Essex town line, I've driven out like, wait, what the hell? Rain just stopped.
Okay, so this is showing. I hate Adobe sometimes. Why are you highlighting?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Down. If there's a randoms coming down.
I hate it.
I'm still not used to the zooms being on the right hand side. And it's been there for almost a year now or 2 years.
So this is highlighting just the Turnpike Industrial Zone. Within that zone, all of the purple are lots that are not a commercial, are not a residential use. The one yellow is the only current lot in the TID, which has a primary use that is residential. And then I did a 250 radius just from the lot line. So this is an extra buffer because nothing will actually be that close because you're not going to build
Right.
a facility on the lot line. But within that, this is where you get all of this surrounding is still a no in terms of residential uses. And the stuff over here is where you get residential uses. So essentially everything south of this little sliver here,
Still.
and then everything on this side is large enough that you should be able to build something that if you're measuring building to building, you will not hit a residence where it is a primary use on the lot.
Here's what you know what I just thought of too, is the property for 400 or whatever, 500, that one. Even though they had the building on it, the property's big enough that you could be separated 250 feet apart and still have a facility.
Mhm.
So you could, even that property could have,
Yeah.
so I think that works.
Yeah.
And I think, to be extra safe, we should look at all of the, right, all of the
Make sure we're
full
covering our
standards. But
Did we did that last time?
yeah,
I
well,
wasn't here.
which is why we're gonna do.
Oh,
But
that's rough.
based off of this, and then I did have it, I literally was going parcel by parcel and
Yeah.
just estimating like where the, but if we make the measurement clear that it's 250 feet
From building.
from building to building instead of lot lines
Yeah.
Yeah.
of butters, then it should work for multiple parcels.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
And is there anything that we should do to the language? Let me open this one to make it more clear that it's the primary use, not the zone. So it's not about if the zone is residential or not. It's about if the use on the lot is a residential use.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there something we can like?
But we still have, but we still have buffers off the property line and vegetative buffers. And
Yeah, just all that's still in there, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so we can read
So
the full
so
standards.
so you can also say like no matter the underlying zoning. Like something to that, so that's like if. Yeah,
Regardless of,
regardless of the underlying zone. I'm on all time. We really are, yeah.
Okay, and now I'm gonna I'll switch back over because I do this one. Okay, so this is what we have. I guess we also don't need to read through all of it right now, but everyone should read through the full text before the next meeting.
Primary use of roads.
But this should allow for multiple parcels. We should still look at some of the other requirements, anything that, talks about.
Right.
Like, there's a few things that as I was going parcel to parcel, there are some other things that would be limitations. For example, one of these, southern pieces down here is like, has a lot of wetlands, so I don't know if that matters when it comes to like zoning estoppel rules or not, if it's not.
And
it's still-
Estoppel is like the new,
Yep.
like, word of. I've heard it now 3 times. in like a
So,
week.
I don't know if we wanna, just check with Ken about like, if there's wetlands, does that count? Is that gonna make a problem for us, basically, in terms of like, do we have to consider that? But I do think that some of these other properties, I just identified it on at least one of the properties that it could be a potential barrier to actual development, but from a zoning perspective now with that measurement, you could. So,
No one's to say that you can't fill that lot and
Yeah.
develop another lot into a wetlands
But
parcel.
like also, if you were the owner of that lot or you were buying that lot, you would understand those restrictions and like. Don't buy the lot if, if you can't do what you want.
I would play devil's advocate for a minute, because I just thought of something.
okay.
Let's say you start to build your facility
Mhm.
and somebody buys a property across the street and puts their house within 250 feet of it.
So it needs to be at the time of approval, probably of the project, which exists in other, there's language like that for some other things
I know,
too.
that's what I'm trying to get at.
But then that.
Where do we have that in the-
restriction on that house it's being?
For sure, we need that.
That's what I'm asking.
I don't think so,
that-
so I don't think.
Well, no, that they would have to conform to the 200.
Right, would the house have to conform, is what I'm saying. Ken, question?
Okay, so take notes. Adding to the list of 10 questions, because I'll be honest, what we wrote down as 10 questions last time was overshadowed by
What?
trying to coordinate with Ken for, special meeting and
Right.
immediate pending litigation questions.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna add it to the list of things for Ken that I need to still ask him.
You have to ask Ken to get, like, he needs a backup.
He does need a backup. We need a mini Ken. Okay, I don't even know where I put these questions. Oh my God.
You got the right laptop?
Good point.
I forgot about that time. Because last time I was taking notes on a different computer and I forgot where I saved the document and I didn't save it in the usual spot. And was like, I know I took notes. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like I was losing my mind.
I've done this.
Same. I swear it's in Google Drive. It's not.
Yeah. Try having like 5 different Google Drives for.
Do it for the old business, the new business, my personal one. Everybody else at my work's one, they all share.
Well, we're self-destructs, we all have different businesses with different.
It's, yeah.
Because then.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I
Goes up.
Oh, yeah.
Goes up.
but I can store my photos now. All
Everywhere.
That way, oh, you're running out of room.
They're protected, right? That's funny.
They probably deferred that, they're changing the policy.
Yeah.
Solid waste, we want to ask about.
I'm not trying to explain that, because I'm not too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, inside.
You like some gum?
Sure.
Would anybody like some gum?
I like
gum. Good job.
I'm still chewing.
Is anybody want to scratch room to that?
I like them all stale. I leave them open for a while. They get crunchy.
Is there something else you needed?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Some time.
Well, there's none of that in here.
Where are all your people?
Yeah,
We kicked them out. They're being
they're good.
loud.
Really loud.
I yelled at them. So. I used my name story to get them. Ready. Did you really? Or should we just make it a sentence?
Where else is that in our regs?
I can't remember what I was thinking about our regs and that's why I thought of it.
It's in there somewhere, I just don't know what it's referring to.
But we don't have to do this right now. Just make a note that we have to look into it.
Yeah,
Because we have still have the
I'm just
public
gonna say
hearing.
at the time of application.
Yeah.
And we'll change it to whatever the
Yeah.
actual language is supposed to be.
Okay.
But for now, I'm just gonna leave it as that, and I'm gonna add it to our June 17th, 2026 folder under text amendments.
Agreed.
Okay.
So why don't we have them as of, not the time of application, but as of the,
Approval.
no, as of the, when these become effective.
Because then if somebody built a house right now, if we approve it next month, and then somebody built the house, and then somebody wanted to come in and do it.
Then they would be allowed to do it, because at the time of this.
Oh,
being
I see.
effective, you build a house and we're not going to consider it. So at the time these are effective, any facility,
Well, hold on a second.
Don't delete.
No such building is really located within 250 feet. Of a lot on which residential is the primary use of. Regardless of the underlying zone. 250 feet is measured building to building. So my problem is, okay, I come in right now, get my approval for my building. Then I'm like, you know what, I really want to put a house across the street. Do I now have to push the house 250 feet from the facility?
no,
Why not?
because at the time of the effective date of these regs.
Yep.
Because I think that the 250 feet only applies to your building of the lease house.
Okay.
I don't think it goes both.
All right, yeah, I think it would still be as ready. I don't.
Okay, I'm fine with that. So
I mean,
then we don't need
It's
anyone.
still on the ask Ken.
Yeah.
Well,
Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Sorry, I had another meeting upstairs. I had to run.
No worries.
But I did hear from somebody that you sent a letter to, I believe.
Man,
oh,
Yeah.
He came up to me after the meeting. She said, I'm working.
Not
okay, well, we can talk about them on
zoning and action.
Monday.
Recorded meeting, right? So I don't need.
Yeah.
nothing's on the record.
So what I'm trying to say is that this reg is gonna protect those residential primary uses now.
Yep.
But once this becomes effective, if then you decide to build a house, that's on you.
So you can't build a spike house, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
like that.
This happens like in airports all the time. With the airport, you have an area, and then subdivision.
At the
Yeah.
effective time of this reg, not at the time of application.
Yeah, and
If
actually, we could,
still gonna-
I think we should just put the date in, once it, like, whenever we adopt it,
As
so
of
we'll put it as the date.
the effect, yes, that's what I
Yeah,
mean. the
yeah.
effective
Let's say
X,
it was
X,
250
X.
feet of a lot on which a residential property is the primary use as of this date.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And then fill it in when it becomes effective.
This is actually very common insurance use case.
Yeah.
Because people do the build a place, then they'll sue because they develop cancer.
Yep.
Because the chemicals are already in the ground.
Mhm.
Airports is what, that's what I call it.
Yeah.
That's the effective date. Yeah, that's good.
Is that right?
I think
Yeah.
so. Like I said, I do think we should all read through all this.
Yeah.
As can.
Have you,
Yes.
have you realized, it's one of the very few things that AI is good for, have you realized that yet?
Oh, boy.
It rates really good
No,
letters.
I don't like to write it, I don't like it.
Claude is better than chat.
I'm saying if you feed this in, it's a search, it's with search, you can say, where in this document, plain English, is this, and it'll spit it back to you, that is actually a good use of that tool.
I've done that for a lot of things, so I remember reading this word of hope, was it? Oh, yeah, it's over here. I do it. Because a lot of that, sometimes Google doesn't catch that stuff.
Right, that's, because I've used it.
Yeah.
For that, for research for my projects, so it makes it a lot easier.
So do we want to send this one to public hearing then?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You make motion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, yes, a motion. I'll make a motion to send this to a public hearing at the next regular
June
June 17th meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent.
All right. Third one in your.
Okay, time to go to everyone's favorite topic, Public Acts 25-1. So what I'm gonna start with is, we talked about, I'll close this for now. Don't worry, I have a third laptop here too, just in case.
You're awesome.
Okay, we're gonna go to basically an audit of what the current residential uses are in non-residential zones. So let me just say that again.
So non-residential zones, we're gonna audit what is listed as a residential use,
In the non,
right? The commercial zones, industrial zones.
what is listed as.
I'm pretty sure all of ours have residential uses.
Yes, yeah, which is why I'm gonna pull it up.
Are you?
I'm working on it. Okay? Trying to get it all in one page because my note taking moved stuff down. The thing I like about my crazy single document with all of our discussion is that I do think it'll be good to be able to reference back, but to navigate through it is it's a little bit much. Okay, so
Still waiting.
this me over here. Don't test me today. Okay, there we go. So these are all of, so not all of these would be applicable for PA 25-1 or in theory should not be.
Right.
But I did include basically everything except the R zones is here, just so we can see. And so a few things that I'm gonna talk about with this is, so I put you as unlisted in the use table. And the reason that I decided to make that separate was because there are things that are listed as in the use table with a clear that's not allowed. I also do think there's 2 instances in the village residential that are not listed as an error of when we were making a prior update. So not on purpose. For example, this is unlisted under mixed use for village residential, but I did see it in a prior version of the regs. So I think it's just
Formatting.
yeah, for a formatting error when something else was updated in the use table. So that's part of why I'm making a note of it. And age restricted development in the village residential is listed twice. I think one of those was supposed to be nursing homes or the convalescent home. It's like this. So because that one is unlisted, but age restricted is listed twice. So
Didn't they do something that updated the name, like with the name that they wanted to use?
yeah, I used nursing home. Ours says convalescent, rest home, and like another thing.
Long-term care. You're dealing with software using AI. That's why you can need all kinds of things.
Oh, boy.
My first job out of college.
I just put nursing home as a catch-all because everyone here knows what it means.
Yeah.
And convalescent home was longer and honestly feels weirder.
Yeah.
But whatever. So,
This says you can't have a caretaker's place. The Harbor District is a no.
that's what it says.
That's ridiculous.
What?
You'd think that you would want a caretaker there if you're like tending to
Right.
boats.
Boats are right.
So,
Like in
where
the,
there's fires all the time.
It's literally allowed in every other district.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if we allowed it there,
Mhm.
well, we do already allow housing, so it doesn't matter. So what are we looking at doing with this? Are we trying to
So-
take housing out of some of these districts?
No, so I think this is just so that we can get a sense of what types of housing are allowed in current in
Right.
districts across right now. So here's where it gets interesting. So with PA 25-1, basically, any commercial or mixed use zone needs to allow middle housing as of right. Right now, we don't define middle housing as its own thing, but it's essentially 2 to 9 unit developments.
Wait, 2?
2.
Two to nine.
Oh, boy.
I know.
Yeah, that's why it's the thing. This was the big topic.
Well, our regulations allow for 3 and up. Not good. You can have 1 or 3 and up.
And the only place where it specifies 2 is in general commercial, and the way that it's listed makes it seem like you're only allowed to do.
2-family, that's it?
So it was a little weird there too, so I noted that. So I think the thing that so there's a couple of parts to this. The first part is basically taking a look at this and determining which of these zones PA 25-1 applies to. Some are obvious, so these. And
Well, at least you put them together.
these. Those are commercial, mixed use. Village residential is also supposed to allow mixed use. That's just an error. So where it gets interesting is our various industrial areas. So turnpike and commercial industrial, I think are very clearly and very arguably exclusively industrial. Like they're really not meant for human occupancy. The only thing that is permitted is a caretaker unit. And I do think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
However, the village industrial allows for some, but not all types of housing in a way that I think it's up to the commission. I would disagree with some of the distribution of this currently, but for example, the village industrial, which does have large industrial buildings that can be converted to housing very easy, or at least could be converted to housing. The village industrial allows for single family. It allows for age restricted developments and convalescent homes, but it does not allow for it does not list multifamily, and it does not list mixed use.
But that's sewer. The village.
So I think that's the biggest point of, even if it's not a change we make in regards to the Public Act updates, I just wanted to flag it as one for the commission to look at a little more closely.
Is that the Bridge Street?
That's Bridge Street.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't we think we would want multi-family and mixed use?
I think that mixed use is always.
Yeah,
You don't want to lose your downstairs, but vertical.
Oh, mixed use.
Yeah.
Allow mixed use, which we could say upstairs apartments or dwellings and downstairs. Yeah, the mixed.
right now it's undefined, so we would set defined it.
Yeah.
I would say.
But
mixed
we
use,
have to go to 2 to 9 still, or there's no way around.
Right.
But not multifamily, because then that would indicate not commercial on the first floor. So I think we should go with the
Mixed use.
use absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the other village districts, it
Yeah,
would be a site plan.
Yeah.
I think village residential stuff goes through the site plan. So I'm gonna put here in red. And then the other 2 zones that that are part of it, but I don't think would apply for the statute, because they're more specialized districts. They're not commercial per se. But once again, we could get we're gonna see it play out in court, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah.
But I'm just flagging them so you can still see. I think one thing that is interesting is the Preservation Recreation District is the only district that allows planned conservation development via special exception. I will say the R60 and the R80 zones also do allow it. But it's the only non-R zone that does. And I think the thing so this is more my commentary than something that I think we need to worry about in pertaining to making updates for the statute right now. But one thing that I was thinking through as I was like trying to find reasoning there was some initial kind of analysis and opinions about if industrial was counted in the umbrella of commercial or if it is distinct, because other places in the statute does kind of treat them as distinct, but in this specific legislation, it's only listed, industrial is only mentioned once and commercial is not clearly defined. So there were some attorney opinions that you could be treating commercial as like an umbrella term and not the zoning specific, kind of types of commercial versus industrial, which is a business activity, but a different scale. I think it's fine to not include industrial. I think the thing that for me, when I was thinking about, well, with 830G, the reasoning for allowing basically the gateway for an 830G application is if the zone allows for some type of residential.
Right.
And so the interesting thing is we do have several zones on here that do allow for some type of residential that then I'm like, oh, so I guess I can't really use that line of logic then for drawing the line between commercial and industrial for this other statute.
Right.
Which we don't have to.
Oh, right.
But I was just trying to draw lines as it relates to statute that's been passed around housing. But so it is also just an interesting thing to note that there are several, we just have a lot of kind of residential options, but not variety.
I keep going back to why do we have so many freaking zones? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
honestly,
I don't know why there's general commercial and neighborhood commercial.
well, preservation and rec
Difference.
And preservation and recreation,
is the worst zone we've had because all the schools are in it, but there's no schools allowed in that zone.
no, but they are allowed in the Mount St. John's, the R60.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. So
Harbor District probably could be combined with the Preservation District because they have pretty much the same uses. And
Yeah.
if you look at the Harbor District, you're not gonna, there's no land down there anymore that's big enough to do freaking age restricted development.
so this was just to show kind of an overview. Essentially, what we would look to add is you would separate out a little column here. And we would add in middle housing, 2 to 9 units. And then this would be 10 plus.
You still have to skip this. Was it 15 or 16? Which number was cut out of that? 16?
Oh, that's when it comes to parking requirements. That's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, so this is 10 to 15 and then 17 that will up.
Well, no, no, for middle housing, it's 2 to 9. But then you would have to have site plan or zoning, basically just not
One or the other.
special exception. And that's what it would be
And that-
for all of these, and I don't know, it's just working for me.
Would it just, in order for it to meet the obligation of 25, would it just be site plan though?
No, it can be either. So summary review, it can be either site plan or administrative. It just can't be a special permit. It can't have a public
All
hearing.
right, okay.
So it doesn't have to be site plan. But it can't, it's just, that would be up to you all if there's, for example, if you don't think it's necessary for you all to review every 2-family home that's in here, you might separate it out further
Again, we don't even want.
and say, well, now you have to.
We have to.
It's a joke.
Well, you still don't have to in the R zones.
All right. Good. That's what we're trying to.
Well, that,
Yeah, but
but don't we, if somebody comes in, I mean, that's what was discussed primarily at the regional planning meeting, because the chair of planning and zoning, Lyman Killingworth, like, we don't have sewer and water. If you put this.
But that's a
here,
different
there's
thing.
no way you can put that,
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's, if you can't, if the lands can't support it, that's not a zoning issue. So that's
That's,
fine.
there's a lot of discussion of soils. A lot
Yeah,
of
like,
soils.
if the septic can't handle 9 units, the septic can't handle 9 units, doesn't matter.
It really stops at health if it.
Yeah,
Right.
so it does, it's just irrelevant.
But
Like,
that
it's
was
not-
their frustration, why even have it sitting here, because it's not gonna
Well,
pass spell. So
but
that's
that makes
basically what they said, it's like, are you happy?
It's not written for small town.
Right, but it also
No, that was the expense. Were you actually funded it?
No, I couldn't. I was at the nominee convention for North.
That was really what their point was, is it didn't accommodate the small town. And they were trying to, if they could change it to make it work for it. So now it is what it
Why
is.
has that plate? Right? If the health department can't approve it, it's never gonna make it to the zoning department. So why even, okay, here's the regulation.
But if there is
No, that was
something
it.
that can, then great.
But really, they were saying because they have to do public hearings on it and killing work, and,
Right.
they're, and then, you know, we're gonna have to go through that too, explain to the town that some of these things, don't worry, no one's ever gonna be able to follow this regulation. We just have to have this regulation. That's basically what it comes down to.
I'm not in this conversation.
Well, you'll be.
I'll be
sure.
sick that night.
So when we finish this tonight, can you like either send that to us or put it up on the OneDrive so I can
Yeah.
have a copy and play with it?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is just as a starting point, so you guys can see. And then really, the question is if there's any additional standards that you want to put in place. I mean, we already have multifamily standards. So you could just refer to the multifamily standards. There's no reason to like, for some of like.
Yeah.
But if there are any additional standards, particularly in the village district, regarding design, I can share a template that the Tyke team has developed that talks about some of it. But
Can you design like, it still has to go to design advisory?
so
I don't think that that's allowed to, that isn't it, doesn't it say?
it has to be like very specific. You can't,
Okay.
it's not vibes based. So why don't I share an example?
Yeah,
Character, can't use the word character.
that's right. I used that last time on purpose.
No vibes, no vibes. It's not about vibes.
It's gonna take you that long to find out that.
No, it's a blacklisting, China's blacklisting, it's supposed to be. The original test legislation, that's what was, it was written blatantly on there, it watered down a little bit than what was passed, but it's the same sentiment.
Yeah.
So here's some examples. So this is basically, and this was designed to basically be able to pick and choose for towns of various scales. So not all of it would be applicable to Deep River. But it's just, there are still standards that can be put in place around building width, height, coverage, buffering. And then if you do want to have design guidelines, they have to be specific. So it can be, for example, you might say you can choose from, sorry, I haven't. So you can choose from these selected material types. You could choose from these selected roof types. So it doesn't have to just be one thing, but you can have a list that says like, you know, a little bit of a, can still be a menu, but they would have to meet that. So you could still have things like that,
So design advisory could come with a list like this and we could put it in the zoning regs and that's part of the.
So it's like roof types, right? So somebody came along and said, hey, if we want to build a dome, we'd be like, no,
yeah, exactly.
can't build a dome.
So
Even
you
though
could
everything else
still,
would be-
yeah, like you could say here's the list of approved things, include it in your site plan. It's basically, it needs to be treated like a checklist, you know, like a site plan, you're like, this is what the regs say, you meet that, great. It can't be like, well, it doesn't feel like this fits. We did have one town where we put in language that was more vibes based, which is it needs to match the visual appearance of the neighboring properties, which is at least you can look at those and say, does it, you know, it's at least objective enough.
Yeah,
because
I
you're
like that.
looking at it. So keeping the
I-
character of the
I'll be back.
neighborhood.
Good luck.
Can we take the salt box out of there? I don't like that one.
Mine's so
It's
long.
Put out there. You missed it, 'cause you were
Oh my
peeing,
God.
but
That's what I'm saying.
no, this is the Tyke mega menu that can be pared down to whatever people want
Yeah.
to keep or not.
Yeah.
So this is just like the
Okay.
smorgasbord.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
So it's something to consider. So that if there is concern about somebody coming into the village and building a monstrosity of a 9 thing that looks like, I don't know, Disneyland.
Like somebody wants to see a dome. I don't know. But I think it's like cluster housing all dome.
So do I think it's a high probability as an issue? probably not, but this at least provides you with, there's always that
We
one.
just,
Yeah,
we just went through that with the thing next to Walgreens over here,
Yeah.
right? They made it look like the building that was there before.
Right.
You kind of want people to do that. You don't want
Yeah.
to like. Yeah.
yeah, and so we could put language in there that basically just codifies it.
Yeah.
So,
So are we saying that then if someone wanted to do, this is for like the 2 to 9 unit thing? So if someone wanted to come in to do 2 to 9 units and wanted to make it out of metal containers, we would say no.
Well, it's not part of the regulations.
yeah, you would have to say it needs to be a part of.
Well,
the
actually, I don't
materials.
know. I mean, as long as it's, yeah, it's that material.
It's
ends
not
up
like
looking-
specific.
as long as you know what's in it. I've seen some
So we
container
have-
housing, and you would know it's container.
Yeah.
Well, it has container housing to it.
Yeah, you'd have to put a gable or a hip or.
Yeah.
No, it's for just.
Yeah.
Square.
Right.
flat.
Whether that's not allowed, it's not one of the choices.
We can add.
She
No, you
wants
Or
it.
you want to act,
She wants it.
okay.
I'd like it to continue.
Architecture done
See?
correctly,
Yeah,
could look almost like anything.
There's some beautiful stuff on the river that's,
It's not,
looks like it's a square model.
Well, and we also like,
Yeah.
this is something that, like, if you, like, want to not apply it to all the zones, like, it could just be village specific, or even
Yeah.
like village residential, or like whatever.
just
it-
downtown.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be for everywhere. I just am sharing it as an option, because
I
if
like
there
that.
is any design concern, this is the best approach to cover the bases.
Can you have an overlay zone of just Main Street that has to go to design advisory?
Good luck asking Ellen about that.
I don't want to ask Ellen about that. I'm asking Taiki about that. Have they looked at that?
I mean. For, you mean as it pertains to middle housing or in general?
Yeah, just in general, because I don't want somebody with middle housing to bypass the fact that we're trying to keep a village look.
They could still go to design advisory, it's advisory.
Right, but the part that gets lost in that is it's advisory. It's either site plan approval or zoning approval, which means you can't put conditions. So the conditions aren't going, you can't go, hey, design advisory gave us all this stuff. These are the conditions you have to abide by, because you can't do that with a site plan or a zoning permit. That's the
Well,
problem.
you can if they help make the list, and they can still get feedback.
Right, so we need them to make a list.
yeah, because then that.
Yeah.
I guess that's the key is we need to involve.
Right, which means there's no more design advisory board after that, because what do they get, what are we sending? Nothing.
Well, it only applies to the 2 to 9 unit.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
It's only that.
Okay,
And you could still have it in there as like, if they wanted to develop something that was like a general little like village guide.
Yeah.
As a reference point, I think that would be helpful for people, but they would still have to go. Because, and I haven't looked at our village regs a little bit, but anything that's visible from the public right of way needs to go to them.
Yeah.
So even if you're just redoing, like reconstructing a porch or whatever that's facing Main Street, like it still has to go to them. So it would probably actually be helpful for people to see some stuff.
I agree. I was just thinking there's a couple empty lots over there that are primed for middle housing,
Yeah.
you know, and we just don't want them to go, hey, by the way, it's a container house.
Lisa.
Exactly.
So I do think that this is the best solution to that challenge.
Yeah.
You know, it's not perfect, but it's better than
Yeah.
nothing.
All right, so we need to hit up design advisory to come up with a list.
Yeah.
Okay.
So would you like to, at the very least, do the text amendments to add middle housing to the use table?
Yeah, we only have.
And I can also pull up a middle housing definition that we just did for Chester. And then we can share this with design advisory board, and we can table this.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then throw it in after.
sounds good.
It doesn't all have to be at the same time, so.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
So I'll throw this.
You really don't have too much. I think.
No.
I should say.
No, you will have next month.
Yeah, so like, We have 5 weeks.
Right, but it has to be a public hearing, right? So we have, we have to say right now, we're gonna set up a public hearing for June 17th.
Yes.
To,
Say so.
to update the use tables.
And send the other stuff to design advisory.
That's not part of it, the public hearing though, and adopt a definition for middle.
Well, there was clarification, original plan, if you don't make that date, lightning won't strike you, it just means that somebody can still come in and do it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
So that's.
there's a sharp circling now.
Yeah, yeah, of course,
Always is.
of course.
We're gonna add middle housing to use tables and adopt definition of middle housing.
And send the stuff up to them. Put that up there.
And design advisory list, okay. And then who made the motion?
Sarah.
Sarah, and who seconded it?
I'll second.
Daniel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay.
Onward and upward.
I'm adding the template that I just shared to the May reg discussion. Thanks, just so you know where to find it.
All right. Oh, yeah. Reports.
I actually have more on the
Oh.
review.
Oh,
stuff.
geez, I never thought about that.
All right, right, then.
But it's okay, it's already 8 p.m. We don't have to get through all of it right now.
Yeah.
I will just share one little sneak peek of something that I need to refine because, and now my computer's, oh, there we go, it works. It was freezing for a moment. Okay. Okay. So I'm working on making this better. But what this will be is an interactive map where we can actually, and of course, this stupid thing in Zoom is right where I need to be clicking. Make it go away.
Show me.
You can move it.
This little
can move
pen
it.
guy.
Okay.
There's my house.
There, okay, it moves, thank you. Okay,
Okay.
All right, good.
so
That's for that.
the reason I'm not gonna share this yet is because there's a little bit of a glitch with the fact that it won't let me just deselect something.
Sorry.
So I'm gonna be refining this, but essentially the end goal will be that you can click through and isolate any combination of land use types that you want. I do want to pare this down a little bit more. The actual like assessor use codes is a million things. So this is the pared down version of that. I would like to pare it down again.
Oh, is that where you got this from?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'll take a look at, so for example, I can probably just combine and all the open space.
Yeah.
Also, agriculture right now is not representative of the farms that are
Right.
around. Some of this stuff, like there were only 2 things that were actually listed as a code for ag. But we know there's more farms in town that I do want to actually flag as farms.
Right.
So there's certain things that now that I've done like the once over just using the assessor's data, now I need to, and we need to, with all of our actual local knowledge and stuff that maybe hasn't hit the assessor data yet, update it so it actually reflects the current uses in town. But basically the big thing is we have a lot of single family homes, we have a lot of open space, and we have a lot of municipal lands, which is the dark pink.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, so someone's residents, schools and
And so something that I'll note is that municipal also included the firehouse and the ambulance, even though technically they're not town, they're like nonprofits, but and associations, but I still stuck in with municipal because it's a service that. So I also, the biggest thing that I wanted to be able to do that it's not letting me do right now, which is why I need to go back and reconfigure how this lays out, is I want you to be able to just see the vacant land.
Yeah.
And see what exists.
So it like mutes everything
Yeah.
else and like you.
And so the assessor code does provide different codes for vacant land. So some is vacant residential, some is vacant industrial. I made it all just vacant. If you click on something, you can see what the existing zone is. So for example, this is residential, it's R80. So you can still see what it's zoned for, but I thought it would be more useful just to get a sense of what our vacant land is, period. This one is vacant, also residential, but there's some stuff that's,
That's what was missing from the Go in York. Because they weren't allowed to look at private land because of the state, the way they've been through. So that map, well, it's a job was there, you were able to go with it. So it only had vacant town land or vacant state land.
oh,
Yeah, I know. I was like,
but this is the assessor data, I don't know, okay.
well,
But-
they have it, just in the map. They just-
Oh, yeah, well, I guess I don't know, maybe I'm.
They have, they talk.
It's all on our GIS already.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the big thing that I wanted us to see vacancies across the board. And I do think it's important to be able to get a sense of the ratio of current open space, current single family, current municipal. And that way we can see then the distribution of just multifamily. So I just need to redo this so I can make
Oh,
everything disappear.
So all right, so everything else disappears, that's not multifamily.
Yeah, so the problem right now is that it's not making other stuff disappear, so I have to reconfigure it. Because the one I built, I did this for Chester, and with theirs, I made multiple layers. This is all one layer, and I've learned now in real time that it's better to make it in multiple layers, and then you can have more control. So this is just a sneak preview. I'm gonna refine it.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Really
So,
nice.
so when you click on like single, all right, so so everything disappeared when you hit multifamily, that's.
That was all the other types of housing.
Okay, it's other types of housing,
Yeah.
Okay.
but because multifamily can go on some of the Rs.
Yeah, no, this is what's currently, this is the current uses.
Right, okay.
So this
okay,
is the current use
Right.
of the property. So it's not what can be, it's what is current.
So for ADU then, what do you have for that? Right now?
Single family with ADU.
So that's people that have actually reported an ADU?
Yes, so those are built.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were telling me where an ADU is allowed.
No, this is
This is.
existing conditions.
Yeah, because according to this, we have what, 3 ADUs, well, that's not true. That's just not true.
I
We
mean,
need to get an incentive for people to report their ADUs.
Once I fix this, the total feature count will be. Then you'll be able to see how many persons have ADUs.
My bad, I misunderstood.
No, this is existing conditions.
That's cool.
Because I figured that way, as we're looking at, we should look at what the actual development patterns are at this moment in time as we're discussing potential zone changes.
Well, that's, how will we find out? I mean, is it in the assessor's database of people that have ADUs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apart from this though, I mean, is that where you pulled that from? Like, I know.
Well, I mean, if they have an illegal apartment that is not reported.
Yeah, I don't know if it's legal or not legal, but the assessor, I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Well, it should be. So
Somebody knows someone.
if somebody got a permit and then completed the build out, the last step is that it goes to the assessor and they update the assessor's card. So if they did all the permitting they should have, then it should be here.
It should be.
It should be. If they have an illegal apartment, it's not gonna show up.
But you don't necessarily have it as ADU. Would you have it as a apartment?
So I already did that. So when I went through the assessor data, one of the first things I did is because depending on when the accessory apartment was built, there's a few places where they might have inputted into their system, and there's a few phrases, like it used to just be called in-law apartment, now it's called accessory apartment. So I combined all of those into one thing.
Oh, right, okay, for example, it's no longer an ADU because the person that bought the house next to me, they're using it as their office, or whatever. But
But if it's on the
but that
assessor
had
card as an
in-law. I don't know
ADU,
if that was ever turned in as an in-law. I feel like it must be, because it's an addition.
if it has its own kitchen, then it was, and if it doesn't, then probably not. So that's part of in Chester, that's part of what we did is, so the assessor had her list of ADUs. And then I did a separate search where I looked for single family homes listed with 2 kitchens because they also list how.
That's what I'm asking.
I did not do that with this one yet, so I can also compare what the assessor has as ADUs versus single family with 2 kitchens and see if there's.
Yes, I would love to find out where those homes are, and then maybe talk to the select board about sending out a postcard. You know, if we can
Yeah.
in fact entice them to do some type of incentive as suggested in the P O C D.
So this needs to be refined, but I just wanted to at least show you guys where it's at. And also so that I do want people thinking about what are the types of land use categories, like the big categories that we want to look at? Because there's probably certain ones that don't need to be broken out separately. And I just didn't like garage and utility. I can probably put it all into industrial. It's just, I was like grouping things as I went and was trying to consolidate because there was like 3 different ones for telephone. There was 4 different things for garages. There were some things that were commercial warehouse that I went parcel by parcel and was like, oh, that's actually a garage, that's commercial, that's actually a garage. So I kind of did a once over just to like start it, but I want to refine it more so it's useful. But this group needs to decide too, what are the actual combinations of use patterns that interest you. So even though it's very messy and not ready,
All of them.
this is just a first pass to get you thinking.
Well, thank you so much. This is great.
It is great. Good
Yeah.
job.
It would be fun to get
Oh,
it.
that's
It's really fun to click around. It's really fun. I can show you the Chester one because it's fun to click around.
Have you finished your housing study there? Or are you still in process?
No. Because our final goal was a little bit different than the one in Deep River. So it was to make recommendations for changes to zoning regs, the Planning and Zoning Commission, and then do a few scenario build outs of like, here's what a development could look like on this type of parcel in town. So moving to that point has been
Oh,
slower.
I understand.
Very weird how it's
So
very defined, like it's a very defined box.
yeah, so this right now is,
So I never noticed.
so this right now is
It's because
Chester.
there's.
this does not show single family homes. I only was highlighting things that were non-single family. So, but it allows you to like isolate. Like I can click out and now we're just looking at the single family with ADUs.
Oh.
Or so if I only do other housing types, but we want to get into more detail, now it's just wherever the mixed use are. So we have some mixed use here, some down here. And then I also, so then the zoning, which I'll also put in for ours as well. And then I did put in development factors that were important when discussing our purpose for the purposes for the other project, but we can also decide if there's other layers that become useful as we move through kind of analysis.
That's pretty cool.
We can decide what we need to put in.
I like that.
So this is what it'll look like when it's functioning. This one is not there yet, so need to reconfigure things.
So that square, that's what it's separated from all, from State Road.
Yeah.
We had that was the church's enterprise. I can't say that word. How do you say it? Harassment?
Yeah,
Basically, it means they're township. The church's version of the township.
Oh,
is
okay,
all
yeah,
this
yeah,
little
yeah.
church land.
Yeah.
So that's why it was a square. So then when that separated to become Chester, they just went along that same.
So that we don't have to go forever. Can,
Yeah.
Lisa, can you and I just touch base before the next meeting on looking at the ordinance draft that we did for the events?
Yes.
And put together basically a temporary event option for zoning. Because I think that would be a great thing to add to some use tables and just have it be a zoning permit that people can do, or a site plan, depending on the scale, but like. So
Yes.
we have people in commercial areas that want to do temporary events and come to the
Special
asking.
events, right?
Right.
Yeah, like special events.
Gonna stick with special events.
Yeah, it would be like. If you, even if you have the coffee shop and you want to do a series of whatever. Or just, there's no mechanism right now where people
Right.
know how to do it, or if they can do it. And
Simplify.
there's just no reason for it to be this hard. So, we don't need to go into detail tonight. The draft that we did last year for as an ordinance is in OneDrive. And I am proposing adding some form of temporary event thing to the use table with obviously parameters that we could adopt as its own section that gives details. So,
Sounds good.
So if we're gonna have these regs, we could take a lot of it out.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
so let's just touch base and do it. That we can talk about it in June, if we don't, get some 9 PM. But, yeah, so that was. Okay, I'm gonna return to this just to say. That. So. I put together an agenda of things to review. We got through. Most of it actually, but it did take a lot of time and we didn't even have a real public hearing tonight.
Right.
So part of the other things that I was asked to do was try to put together a timeline for moving forward. And so the thing that I'm struggling with is gauging the cadence at which we can realistically talk about and plan public hearings for various topics. And so what I'm proposing is to kind of do like a 2 month at a time look ahead of like, okay, like here's where we're at. Let's do these 2 things for next time and keep it moving that way. Because if we map out the whole thing, the reality is it's going to get changed as we go because some things are going to be easy and some things are going to be hard. The other thing is, so Alan at the last meeting suggested having a few community sessions where we engage and invite, like make sure to invite the community prior to like a public hearing where it's just to have kind of a conversation more like what we had with Mount St. John folks to get input and thoughts on some of the regulations. The 2 big topics to me seem to be housing and agriculture. Are there other topics that the group thinks warrants like a community session? And you don't have to answer that right now, but just think on it. And then also think on, since we're not going to be doing that for June anyway, because there's a different thing I'll have to bring up for June. Think about how we want to schedule it. Like, do we want it to be part of the planning and zoning meeting? Do we just think about how we want to tackle that piece of it?
Unfortunately,
Think information.
members of the community who do come to the community sessions are not the same members of the community that come to the public hearings when something that we discuss on the community session actually, we get ready to decide we want to pass or not. It always seems to be a different set of people.
Yeah.
But I think agriculture nails it.
Are we going to use our existing regs as a baseline to start off of? Because obviously we've done the accessory, we're sending the accessory because that seemed to be simple.
Yeah.
Because you gotta have something to start with.
Yeah.
A lot of our regs, we're gonna have to go put our input in and our vision along with the P O C D and get a base to start with before you get information from the public. Otherwise, you will be all over the place.
Yeah, no, and I agree that I think the cadence needs to be, we review and discuss it first,
Yes.
plan the community session,
Yes.
engage the community after we've kind of wrapped our heads around it as a group,
Right.
and then then schedule the public hearing based on what we've heard.
We don't need to do the whole POCD process to get.
No, not for, I think it makes sense for some of the hot button issues,
Well, something can change, fair enough.
but everything,
Just the big topics.
yeah, just the big ones. And that's why I'm asking, like, housing and agriculture seem like the big ones to me. If another thing pops up as a big thing or one that I missed, so that I was kind of going through my notes.
I'm not sure we can do that much with the housing though either. How
No.
much can we take
No.
input and do with the housing? Because we're being dictated to.
Well, and so for this stuff, this and that housing would be separate from the statute stuff. That would be more, I have notes of other things that people were interested in us looking more into. So
Okay. All right.
incentive zones, inclusionary zoning,
Okay.
cottage cluster
Yeah.
standards. So that would be like housing outside of statute.
Okay.
It's like,
Okay.
are there any things that we want to update?
Yes, because we want to do it.
So that's what, by housing, that's what I mean. When it comes to this, no, we'll do the public hearing and we'll call it a day. Like, that is not, this is the most that we can negotiate is what goes on that little thing.
Let's,
for
we,
sign.
it's people, I want to redo things we've already took time.
No.
I need to. because somebody can take the time to come before.
No. This would be more for if there's other type things outside of that scope of what is being told to us. That would be the time to do it. So,
So all right, I'm almost starting to ask questions about a couple of these, but we set a time to ask those questions.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't want
Exactly.
to go on that rabbit hole.
yeah, because it will be its own rabbit hole for sure. And we'll talk about it again before we do anything.
Yeah, we have to get most of our regs have to get, drafted as a whole.
Yes, I'm on the
Before
MG.
before
Yes.
we change them, we're doing a few things that are easy, but you basically have to get, am I right, you get the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because you've got to be able to read it from start to finish and know that you've covered everything and you haven't overlapped and you don't go back and say, uh-oh, we changed this, but we didn't change.
I don't
the
want to
figure."
get burned again.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a whole. Yeah, okay.
So as I was going through, I started with some of like the big topics and then went to kind of a section review of like some of the key sections. And that'll be more just us saying, okay, like we looked at sober, are there any things that we think need to be changed? So that's the current general approach. And I do think some of these we should be able to knock off. So for example, we did this, good job. We have these scheduled for June. Yay.
No, that's good. That's good. That's fine.
And then next time we can talk about this.
Don't try to eat the whole
Yeah.
pie. Don't
Yeah.
take your time.
No, we're breaking it down because that's the only way.
And we need to have it all broken down.
And that-
be able to look
It
at
actually makes it very workable. We can actually have something done within a year.
Oh, my
I love that.
God.
So anyway, that's the other thing I wanted to share and now we can move on.
Or not, the next thing is CEO.
Beautiful.
Hello. I do actually have one more update. So I meant to share this at the last meeting. I honestly forgot. I feel like we must have just been very busy. We did have a very packed last meeting, didn't we?
Awesome.
So the town did move forward with an online permitting software. We are using PermitLink. They already set it up for the building department. I am very close to having it set up for zoning. I emailed the guy and he just happened to be on vacation the day that I emailed, so I just followed with him. But they're very fast and they're ready to go, and they're planning on also doing it for Chester, and they're already in Essex, and so I'm actually going to be working with Carrie in Essex to coordinate some updates so that basically the goal would be for it to be a similar experience across. So
I'm gonna talk someone else. I'm not gonna.
It took us 4 years. 4 years.
Yeah, it's like the whole time I've been involved.
Yes.
so that is the update, and I will let you know when we are actually live with zoning stuff. At this moment in time, I'm still doing old fashioned paper, but I just want you know that it's at least half the work.
Awesome. Thank you.
And that is my biggest update. And then the rest is just, trying to do
Huge.
the huge.
Okay, regulation discussion, nothing, we just did that. Attorney, I'm assuming we get nothing. Chairman, I got nothing. Budget, they're still having their debates about that. River County Housing Committee,
Okay, so the planning committee, we've already told you about it. They discussed the regs for PA 25. There was a lot of review of the last legislation session, which is expected to be a small, short session, but turned out to be a lot of stuff in it. And out of that, you already know that the extension didn't go, in fact, nothing went through. Extension didn't go through, the gold girls didn't go through, nothing went through. There's two that they're concerned about when the session comes back up. 151 basically takes away all zoning, anything you say about setbacks or lot sizes or anything, so that's kind of bothering people. But who knows? That's for the next legislative session. And then the one about industrial, that didn't disappear. It didn't go, because they didn't put it up to vote. So that might come back. That's having mixed use in industrial, like no dispute of what industrial is. You can put it right in the middle of the quarry, apparently, if that goes through.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't think that's not that literal, but anyways, that's what scares people. And then as I mentioned, the other discussion was how do some of these things even work in towns where they just don't you know, it's never gonna happen. And as Tony says as well, it's good to help, but you still have to put them in your regs. That's the bottom line.
And if there is a spot that it can happen, then that's good, because that means you have.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, nobody's against it. There's some. Then last month's regional housing, there was a presentation and I felt very vindicated because all the work that I've been doing with Zoe and telling them and being loud about the fact that this is the real state of our community, they finally came to the realization like, oh my gosh, the whole region's like this. They did give us a shout out to before I opened my mouth and said, I told you so. I sent out, you know, I meant to send out the report earlier. I'm glad when the meetings come. I go, oops. In fact, I think I sent out 1 minute before the minutes went out tonight.
Well, I put it on the OneDrive, so now everyone can see it there.
Oh, right. So you have the existing condition, and there's a lot of stats, but the basic breakdown is the majority of our citizens are over the age of 55.
Yeah.
And going that way. We don't have that many kids. And there's some interesting stats across the region. Of course, we know about our local school system and that there's no kids in the school as compared to 10 years ago. So this has a regional view with that. So it's, in fact, when you look at that, keep in mind, we're at almost 50% of our population. So the population overall on that, I was going to show some pictures, but we're already so late. Is it, you know, in 2014, the region had 24,000 kids, and now we have like 18,000. And so it looks like it's only going down a small percent.
Yeah.
But in our town, of course, it's going down a lot more than that, as well as Essex and Chester.
Next year's
East Haven.
kindergarten class here just expanded by 50%. So
Oh, it's another kid.
it's going from like 24 to 32.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's, all right, that's positive, that's positive.
Yeah.
That's, that helps, but, what else? So anyways, yeah, I shared the plan. Please take a look at it.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have on that.
Paying the bills? Month? Adjourned?
No, we'll get a bill from Ken at some point.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure.
Adjourned.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
By the way,